It is frequently posited that art mirrors the essence of life itself. Within the discipline of pugilism, an intrinsic primitiveness is present, where two fighters face off, revealing the depths of the innermost soul to the world. In the arena of combat, a duality emerges. On one side, there lies a raw, primal spirit of the warrior, driven by the instinct to destroy. On the other, a more cerebral approach unfolds, characterized by the swift and precise deconstruction of the sweet science. This duality reflects the complex interplay between instinct and intellect, chaos and order within the human experience. Following Juan Carlos Gomez's transition to the heavyweight division, Vasily Jirov ascended as the undisputed frontrunner in the cruiserweight category. Jirov established his reputation by defeating the then anticipated gold medalist Antonio Torre in the '96 Olympics. He initially captured the IBF cruiserweight title by defeating Arthur Williams. Over the next 3 years, Jirov's reign was marked by dominance, amassing an impressive record of 10 victories, 8 of which came by way of knockout, cementing his status as a dominant figure in the division. In the opposing corner stood an unpredictable talent, boasting 2 major titles in lower weight classes, but plagued by an inconsistent work ethic. James Toney was on a quest for a career-reviving victory. His professional standing had never fully rebounded after a decisive 94 defeat to Roy Jones Jr., 2 contentions points losses to Montel Griffin, and an inexplicable defeat to the unremarkable Drake Dadze might have spelled the end at the elite level for many fighters. After taking more than a year off between 97 and 99, following a win over Steve Little, Toney returned to the ring. Initially sluggish and above the heavyweight limit, he gradually worked his way back down to the then 190-pound cruiserweight limit. Starting with a victory over Terry Porter, Toney strung together 10 consecutive wins, culminating in a knockout of Jason Robinson, which secured him the mandatory contender status with the IBF. As the fight approached, Jirov was regarded as potentially the most exciting cruiserweight since Evander Holyfield. The gold prize at stake was not just a title, but also the possibility of a major title fight against the then WBA heavyweight champion Roy Jones Jr. This was Jirov's 7th defense of the IBF title. Toney entered the ring with a record of 65 for 42 knockouts, while Jirov was undefeated at 31-0 in 27 knockouts. The fight had a lot working against it as far as becoming a memorable event. It took place in a small casino in Connecticut, rather than the prestigious venues like the Mandalay Bay or MGM Grand. It aired on HBO instead of pay-per-view and was promoted accordingly. Considering that the last significant cruiserweight fight was 15 years prior, with Holyfield versus Qawi, few truly grasped what was about to unfold. There were only a handful of nights in boxing that represent the pinnacle of each fighter's career, and this was one of them. The fighter styles couldn't have been more contrasting. Jirov was an offensive, do or die, all or nothing type of fighter, always willing to take it 51-50. He couldn't help but apply pressure, often walking into counters, yet persisted by doubling down on his approach. His greatest assets were his durability, conditioning, and chin, which fueled his aggressive nature. James Toney was a classic throwback fighter who prioritized defense but wasn't afraid to engage in exchanges. As a pocket fighter, he was exceptionally slick, creating an illusion of being an open target. Although he seemed to stand directly in front of Jirov with his hands low, he would vanish in a moment's notice when a punch was thrown. His style, difficult to replicate, demanded cat-like reflexes. By standing bladed, he reduced his target size in half, bending at the hips to slip on the punches, or rolling so they glanced off them. This approach was risky but beneficial for several reasons. It allowed him to hold his ground despite not having the quickest feet, enabling him to plant his feet and deliver powerful punches. The most intrinsic aspect, however, was his countering ability. If Jirov overextended, he he would pay the price as Toney's trap was sprung, unleashing a precise counter.
A big right hand by Toney, and Jirov keeps going, although without any balance. Toney's
weight is control for him, but if he starts shooting those low punches, it can be.
Straight right hand.
Toney was a sharpshooter who never wasted punches, choosing to pull the trigger only when he saw an opening. His speed was deceptive and his punching technique flawless, as he never telegraphed his strikes. Instead, he delivered them precisely, making it difficult for Jirov to anticipate. Toney seamlessly integrated his movements into his punches, using defensive rolls to coil and unleash powerful shots. If it rolled a certain direction to defend, he would use that position to spring into a punch, catching Jirov off guard. With Jirov as the aggressor, his target was easy to locate. It was all about positioning and timing. As a pressure fighter, Jirov threw punches in bunches, making it inevitable that some would penetrate Toney's defense. However, the key for Toney was to minimize the impact of the bigger punches. He cleverly used Jirov's aggression against him, waiting for him to open up before slipping his own punches in between Jirov's combinations.
Jirov 86 out of 326. James Toney lands a lot of punches. Landed in a championship fight. That's Vasily Jirov. That's why we expected a great fight tonight.
That's right.
Last two rounds, getting to the center of the breadbasket. Toney. This is. Let's watch Toney throw the uppercut.
It really causes your eye to close up. Those glazing shots like that cause a lot of.
Aggression, in its essence, is a slow burn that yields its reward over time. It's a gritty, unyielding means of asserting one's presence and intent. The principle of aggression dictates that no matter how many punches are thrown, persistence is key in keeping the opponent at bay. Once the aggressor closes the distance and finds the way onto the inside, the true impact is felt. Like iron hammers, each strike is designed to wear down defenses and ultimately breaking the spirit. It's a rule to the power of unwavering determination and the eventual triumphant of sustained effort.
A hold up against Jirov's continued effort.
Hey Jim, I got it also a very, very close fight. 57-50 Mayweather did last week. Keeps that shoulder high, you kid.
In the second half of the fight, the pressure began to show its effects. Toney's output slowed just enough for Jirov to outpace him. It wasn't rocket science. The more punches Jirov threw, the greater his chances of outlanding Toney. This wasn't a cute contest. It was about raw, savage ferocity. Jirov punched his way in and punched his way out, and it was working effectively. For every clean shot Toney landed, Jirov absorbed it and continued pressing forward. It was a battle of steady, direct damage against the cumulative toll of animalistic aggression.
Jirov just never and the little right hand combo. To the ninth. Yep. Looks like his vision will make it through the fight.
The high-octane fight evolved into a gritty trench warfare, with both warriors pressing their heads onto each other's chests and unloading a barrage of punches. On the inside, it was a battle of hooks and uppercuts, with each fighter defensively rolling with the punches to mitigate the impact. It was as if they had agreed to abandon the finesse of boxing, opting instead to resolve it like they did in the old days, pummeling each other until one would yield. Jirov was outlanding and outworking Toney, yet Toney countered by making every punch count, landing devastating precision.
Takes 3 more shots in a row. Took himself the only way he knows how. By
Just now.
45 seconds left in the round. Jirov now tries to produce an energy burst, and that's what Toney's doing.
Heading into the 12th and final round, Toney's corner was convinced that only a knockout could secure his victory. If there's one profound lesson life imparts, it's that your response to adversity in moments of crisis truly defines your character. Up until this pivotal moment, many had questioned Toney's heart and desire, wondering if he truly possessed the will to win. With his corner nearly certain that a knockout was essential for victory, Toney summoned every ounce of remaining strength, stepping into the spotlight to reveal to the world the true essence of his spirit.
Manuel.
Totally exhausted. James got so much experience.
Look at this. My God. Cast for the fight predicted a split. Toney.
The final round unfolded with unparalleled drama, as Jirov, against all odds, managed to endure. Though Toney ultimately secured a unanimous decision, the scorecards failed to capture how truly close the fight was. Both warriors poured their entire hearts into the battle, leaving a piece of themselves within the ring. It was a testimony to the pursuit of crowning glory, reminding us that nothing truly special in life is attained without coming at a cost.